The main difference between an optimist and a pessimist. New T Swift, and it's time to play ball.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Friday. That's right, it is Friday, July 24th, 2020. Day 287 of Gotta Get on Ellen in 5 more days until my first speaking event. Oh, it's really real now. Yeah, it's really real now. So, I still got a lot of practicing to do. Got 5 more days. So, some sad news for us here at the McClure household. We do not get the channel that the Phillies are playing on tonight. Tonight, the home opener. Baseball is back, but not for us. Yeah, why? Why would they not have it on like a main network? We've waited for so long to see some live sports, and they're going to take it away from the little people who can't afford the big cable package. I'm bummed. I thought about asking the neighbors if we could come over, but they're not Philly fans. No, they're not Phillies fans. They're from North Jersey. They like the New York teams. He's actually an Orioles fan, but I think that he would probably watch maybe the Mets over the Phillies. I don't know. Not Phillies fans, though. My good friend, Cheryl, I know her and her husband are Phillies fans. I'm wondering if they might have an outside showing of the game at the Flounder Inn. The Flounder Inn is what they call their outside bar area. Cheryl really, really put in her research when she purchased her home. She is such a great spot. She's like on a corner, so she has more property than most people around here. And she has an area where they have this big, huge bar. It's so cool. And they have a little cutout in the wall of this shed that is part of the bar where they put a television. So cool. So, Cheryl, if you're listening and you're watching the game tonight and you want some company, we'll bring snacks. We'll see what happens. I'm just throwing it out there. Cheryl may or may not listen to the podcast on a regular basis. She does skip a day here and there. We'll see. I'll take this as if she doesn't listen today, it's a sign that we're not supposed to go over to the Flounder. And chance of showers throughout the day today. So they're a little worried that there's going to be a rain delay when it comes to the game. I'm really bummed. Really want to watch the game. I guess I could up my cable package, but wow, it's already super expensive. I mean, it's crazy. We pay $155 a month, which compared to your cable bill probably doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still a lot for a monthly bill. And again, we get no channels. We don't even have ESPN. It's crazy. We have like no channels. If it weren't for TV Land, which I watch every night when I'm going to bed, I probably would just go down to basic cable because we really don't watch all these other channels because we've gotten used to not having them. We don't have TBS. We don't have HGTV. We don't have the Food Network. I mean, we have practically nothing as it is. So I'm pretty bummed about the Phillies game. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Maybe we can find it online somewhere. I don't know. It's just not the same watching it on the computer or what have you. There is some good news, though, for today. For the T Swift fans listening like me, brand new album. That's right. Dropped overnight. Folklore. Now available. I think it's 13 songs, only $8.99. Already downloaded that bad boy. That's right, Joe. Get ready for some T Swift. He's like, oh, great, more Taylor Swift. This seems to be like a little more low-key, a little more ballady than her previous album. It's only been 11 months since Lover came out. And she had said that since she couldn't tour and do all the things that she had planned on doing at the beginning half of this year, she started writing and recording. And this is the result. So I'm looking forward to digging in and diving into Folklore. I have to say I do like Taylor when she's a little more bouncy. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, $8.99 bargain. How to scoop that bad boy right up. So, Joe, get ready for some new T Swift. I had an interesting exchange at the vet yesterday. I had to go and pick up some new medication for Tucker because she's been having some issues. The medication she was on was a steroid, and it was making her pant really, really a lot, and she was just breathing too fast. It was freaking me out. So I took her off the medication, and I had a hard time getting hold of the doctor. Finally got a hold of the doctor. He said, I'm going to try this medication. So I go to the vet yesterday to pick up the medication. And the woman at the counter says to me, oh, it looks like you have a balance here of $65. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I never walk out of here without paying. And she's like, well, were you here in April? I said, was I? I said, you know what? I think I picked up medication in April. I think I had picked up some heartworm medication and some other medication that she had needed at the time. And she said, yeah, it looks like according to this, you owe $65. And I was like, well, do you think that they would have let me pick up medication and left without paying for it? And she just didn't really say anything. I said, look, I can look it up right now on my bank account. And, tell me the date again. And I scrolled and I scrolled and I scrolled. And I finally found it. I was like, yeah, it says right here, Manahawkin Veterinary Animal Hospital, $65. And I show it to her. And she's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to call over to the other office to see how I can clear this out without, claiming that it was under my tally for the day. And I'm like, well, do you want to take a copy of my bank statement here or, to prove that I paid? She's like, no, I'll take your word for it. I'm like, well, you don't have to take my word for it. I have proof. I don't know. It's kind of rubbed me the wrong way. She's like, acting like, no, I believe you. I trust that you're telling me the truth, that you paid it. She says this to me after I proved to her that I paid. And I'm just like, well, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's proof. I paid. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I have the proof. I know that, like I said, I've never walked out of there without paying. And that's actually how I knew that I must have just picked up medication, because she's like, were you here in April? It looks like it was a $65 charge. I said, I have never been here for only $65. It had to have been a medication pickup or something. Never get out of the vet for less than $100. Never. So we'll see how that goes. The next time I go to the vet, we'll see if they'll be like, you still owe us $65. And I'm going to be, no, I don't. So anyway, I don't know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Not a big deal. Kind of thought it was funny for the most part, but, yeah, I'll take your word for it. No, you really don't have to do that. I have proof. Today's topic is about working from home or working at the office. What do you prefer? A lot of people now used to working at home after the pandemic hit, and a lot of people started working from home. A lot of people just say home. 1, 2, 3, 4 people say home. Katie says that she gets more done at home. That seems to be the opposite problem for a lot of people, is they're very distracted. Now, I thought that maybe people with little kids would prefer to go to the office because little kids can be very distracting. But I do know that Heather had commented and she has very little kids, and she said she would rather be at home. So I guess that, at least for Heather, they're not so distracting that she can't get her work done. And Michelle says, why would anyone want to go into the office if they didn't have to? And that's what I was saying is, I just think that some people might feel like they get more done at the office without all of the distractions from home. Melissa says home, but I've been working from home for the last 5 years before the craziness started, so there hasn't been any change for me. Lynn says home for sure, been a home worker for a long time and couldn't go back to an office. And Jim says, I do miss people, and as a trainer, it is easier to train people in person than online, but I love working from home more if I had to choose. I get more done, and I save a lot of time and money in traveling. So there you go. I love working from home. This is the perfect setup for me. I get up, I have my coffee, I scroll through Facebook for a little while, go through all my social media accounts, get everything prepared, do my podcast, and then whatever is on the agenda for the rest of the day. The blog post for today, I'm going to be talking about the difference between an optimist and a pessimist. When it comes to toxic behaviors, which is what we've been discussing all week, one of the worst is only focusing on what you don't have. An optimist realizes how much they already have and are grateful for it, while a pessimist never acknowledges what they have and only focuses on what others have that they don't. You know people who are like this, always feeling sorry for themselves because they don't have what others have and convincing themselves they are getting the short end of the stick. Often people who have this view of the world never acknowledge what goes into getting all of those things, like hard work, saving their money, not spending frivolously, and their own set of priorities. People who feel like they don't have enough rarely question what the difference is between those who have what they want and themselves. We get what we work for. That is still true. And looking at others with jealousy will never help you get what you want. When you can focus on what you have instead of what you don't, life will truly be beautiful. Remind yourself to take joy in the little things, like the picture I posted. The fact that my gardenia plant is going through a second blooming. I bought this at the beginning of the summer, and after the initial blooms died off, there was no activity. And I looked closely the other day, and there are buds all over. I mean, like, everywhere. And some started to bloom yesterday. I also got a new orchid this year, and it came with 3 stems. I've never had 3 stems before. It's so pretty. And I just noticed the other day that it's still growing new blossoms. I hope that means it likes the spot I picked out for it. When you focus on what you have, you don't have as much time to wallow in what you lack. It changes your focus, and life starts to get better just by changing your perception. Life is the way we look at it. We often interpret life not as it is, but how we perceive it to be. For example, I'm going to steal something I heard from Rachel Hollis. Where she got it from, I don't know, but take fire as an example. When there is a house on fire and you are a firefighter, you see that fire as a job. If you are an arsonist, you see that fire as exciting. If it's your house, you feel devastation. You see what I'm getting at? A house on fire is just that, but there are so many meanings depending on your point of view. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. To extend to goal setting. We can often get to our goals faster if we write them down in specific detail and then describe how our life will be once we achieve those goals. That's a singular activity. That's not looking to others. It's not the same as looking at others with jealousy and feeling sorry for yourself. This is an exercise that has its place and should be used as an incentive to your dreams and goals. You can do this while still being appreciative of what you have already. As a former pessimist, I think this is the biggest obstacle to overcome. And once you do, you will be well on your way to a much better, happier life filled with all the things you love. So how do you make this transition? How do you do it? A gratitude journal. Oh, there she goes again with the gratitude journal. I know. You know why I keep harping on it? Because it works. People do the gratitude journal, 3 to 5 things every day that you are grateful for from the past 24 hours. It can be 1 word. It can be 3 words. It can be a sentence. It can be whatever you want it to be. Just something that you are truly grateful for. Oh, it is Cocktail Friday, y'all. We made it to the freaking weekend. I hope you have a fantastic time in whatever you do, and make sure to stay safe. Go out there and be a badass. You know I'm cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Friday, Friday, Friday.